Welcome to another tzuzamen. Hey, Tzipi.
Shalom Tzili, hi.
Hila Oren,
The greatest,
CEO,
the one and only.
the CEO of the Tel Aviv Foundation.
Magnificent.
So I asked Hila to come because there are so many different things that happening now take place in Israel. And since October 7th, when the south was attacked by the Hamas, one of the cities, Sderot, was attacked as well. The people were relocated and now they're coming back. And Hila and the Tel Aviv city, or you tell us exactly how, went down to Sderot. We say down because it's the southern part of Israel. Went down to Sderot and they collaborate on certain issues and basically do rehabilitation together. So
That's nice you say together.
yes. So
I
Hila,
also like the way you phrased it, but I'll share it with you in a minute.
so tell us exactly what's going on, what is taking place, what do you do?
So first of all, Tzipi and Tzili, thank you for bringing me here, because I think one of the parts that brings light to my life at this time is actually my partnership with Sderot, my personal partnership and the city's partnership with Sderot. October 7th, I was actually in New York City, maybe you remember, and it was the worst place to...
I was in Israel and you were in New York. Yeah.
Exactly. And it took me 4 days to get a plane back. And when I came back, it took me another some days, to understand where am I and where I can help myself. Now in Israel, most of the army people got at what we call Tzav Shmone. They're being called by the army and they go and help wherever they are most needed. And lots of my friends, although they are retired from the army, they still got this Tzav Shmone and they went out and we were all helping. And I found myself in such a great position as CEO of the Tel Aviv Foundation, but not really able to help because the city of Tel Aviv did not need help. The evacuates that came here, I'm so happy and glad to share that the city itself, with all the people here, gave the best support, whether it was in the hotels or out there, whatever there was needed. And myself, I founded myself with no direct value. So I decided I'm giving some phone calls and I'm giving myself a Tzav Shmone. To cut a long story short, I found my partner in Sderot, Amnon. He's the CEO over there of the foundation. They also have a foundation there, just like we have here. And I started going there with a partner from the private sector, lawyer Noah Meidan. We started going every Wednesday to Sderot. Now, the first time we went there, there were sirens and it was really scary. And whoever heard I'm going down to Sderot said, oh, be careful, don't go there, don't da. And I can tell you that 3 months later, after 13, 14 times that I'm already there, we collaborate with the mayor of Sderot, with all the top leaders of the city, with all the private sector. We actually made a work plan for the day after. Of course, the city has its own resilience, and this is part of the beautiful thing about that city that I can share with you. Although it's a city with a lot of religious people, so if you come on Shabbat, the city is totally closed. But when you come at the middle of the week, it's just like any other place, just like Tel Aviv. People, although they are religious, and by the way, they are most of them are right wing. Myself, I'm left wing. But after the October 7th,
basically a Bibi city.
Exactly. Basically a Bibi city, but not anymore. Not anymore. Right. Now you should hear those people. But after 14 times, 13 times, whatever, I'm not counting, of being there for a full day, we are already partners. We work together. I have no authority on them, but they listen and they work with us. We're actually building, me and Michal today, we had a whole strategic meeting today. This is, although it's Sunday, for the whole day, their team came over here today and we were working on their positioning, how would I say, חוברת, positioning marketing material. So we're doing it together with them. We are figuring out what is the most important strategic projects to get, because you get lots of funds from private sector. You got some funds from the government. We've got Tkuma, which is a whole big issue. I will share with you in a minute about that. The government is not doing its best job because they're excluding the city. They're putting a lot of focus on the moshavim and kibbutzim, and again, forgetting the city and getting the how would I say?
But Hila, when you say forgetting the city, I think that through all the years of the existence of Israel, the cities of the south were a bit forgotten.
Also the kibbutzim.
By every, no, I'm talking about
Netivot, Sderot, Ofakim.
yeah, they're all second level cities, and I don't think they really got the full support.
Although they are Likud people.
Yeah.
So this is something I think that we are not enough aware, okay? So in the last 10 years, these cities actually got a very big rise. If you will go there now, you'll see skyscrapers, you'll see the cities in a big development, lots of people there, big numbers. We are not aware of the great development that was
push that they got, yeah.
Exactly, the push that they got there. But Tkuma, the government by Bibi, made a whole big administration.
What is Tkuma?
Tkuma is the administration of the government for the south of Israel, for HaNegev HaMa'aravi, the Western Negev.
How to rebuild them, right?
Sorry?
No, to help them grow.
And rebuild first.
It's
No,
an
she's not talking
administration.
about the war. She's talking before the war.
It's a specific administration that was made 3 days after October 7th.
After the war.
The government made a decision.
Wait a second.
Not before the war.
Hold on. You said that in the last 10 years, they got a big boost from the government and a lot of help.
The cities by themselves.
Right.
Yes, in the last 10 years, the cities and with their mayors, with their population, got a big boost. October 7th caught us all in surprise. So the government decided to build a new administration called Tkuma administration. Put a lot of money and a lot of managers into this administration. And again, this administration puts all the focus on the villages and on the kibbutzim and not on the city. Now you should ask, how come? Right? This is a Bibi's government. How come?
All
the citizens came back home to Sderot?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Most of them didn't come back yet.
Most of them, 70% did not go back yet. They're working on it. Probably in the beginning of March, they will go back. They're still in hotels. But, and this comes to my talk about cities, and I remember Tzili and Tzipi, when you talked to me at the beginning of COVID, you asked me, will people go back to the city? And at that time, I told you, yes, they will go, and it will be even more. Same thing here in Sderot. I started going to Sderot on the second week of the war. The city was neglected totally. And I was telling all the people there, you have to be ready because the people will come back before you will tell them, because the city has its own force and its own energy more than what the mayor will decide that he's doing. Like if
are very loyal to the place, are very loyal, not just like home, in the place itself. It's amazing.
The place is like a home to all the organism. Okay, all the people, the population is 36,000. They will come back to their house. Yes. No matter what the government will decide, no matter what the mayor will decide. And since Sderot now is safe because of the army being in Rafiach and in Gaza and all that, people are starting to come back. The government is not getting ready for Sderot. They are getting ready for all the kibbutzim and the moshavim. So myself, going back to your question, I am in Sderot working with the top leadership, on getting the city ready, understanding that they need to get it even before the government decides, and what are the projects that we want to put in focus, because there are lots of projects to be done. Everybody's pulling and pushing to their interests. Sorry, I'm a little bit sick. Some of the private sector, always comes and are looking for opportunities. Some of the leadership are pulling to whatever they think, and it's not easy to make a decision that will be coherent and will be what is the most important for the people, and not what is the interest of some leaders, like
Right.
that are pulling to wherever they want.
So what are the projects that you are entering?
So, of course, there's the police there was ruined, so we need to have a new police and a new place for security. There is no really cheder miyun, emergency room over there. We need to make an emergency room. There is no resilience room treatment for the school, so we're building resilient treatment. That is all the self-therapy that they need. Yeah, all the psychiatry support that they need. There is a culture project that needs to be done. There's a tourism project. There's 12 different projects that we decided that they are the most important. When I say we, it's their leadership with my help, just in the wrapping up, because I think one of the most important tools that I got through my
position,
but mostly experience with Tel Aviv, with Christchurch, with Barcelona, with all the cities all over, is to understand what is most important for each city, because whatever is important for Sderot will not be important for Netivot and will not be important for Ofakim. So you need to analyze what is exactly needed by the population. There you have to listen to the people, understand what are the resources that you have, and make the combination together. We'll probably have some mistakes, but we're working on it.
What about security? Because, the main thing is, first of all, to be safe.
Yeah, so she said the police are going to have a new police.
That was the first one. Yeah, instead of the police that was ruined, so a security, how would I say, center that will take care and will not only rely on the government, but will take care of the city by themselves.
But one of the problems, Hila, that with everything, but it's true that everybody relied on the government, and it's terrible, but every community had a security group. Everybody had a security people. Everybody in Israel is security, because either you're in the army or in the security or in reserves, and everything was ruined. So how can you make people secure to come back home, to rebuild their trust, to really have a force in the place to say, come on, people, you can come home. We are with you. We protect you. This is the first thing. I mean, you have to bring your kids.
So they are taking care of that first. They call it resilience troops. Yeah, they call it resilience troops, and they have their own mechanism of building it little communities within the city. So once, for instance, they'll go back to the city and something will happen, they will have an emergency alarm that will connect between them, will have the information being pushed to them, and will let them know exactly what to do at that moment. I must say that Sderot is one of the cities that already have quite a good communication system, because when they evacuated, other cities just evacuated to all over. Sderot evacuated in a clever way to Jerusalem, Eilat, Tel Aviv, and Netanya. Each place they evacuated like in a center with a manager. So in a way, they have their internal mechanism a little better than most, and now they're improving it. But of course, they will have to work on it.
Tell me something. They're going to build a safe room to everybody?
Sorry?
Safe room. Mamad, everybody?
In Sderot, they have safe room everywhere, also in the streets. Like when I go with my car, from like from one safe room to the other. They have safe rooms out there that they are locked, and when there's an alarm, automatically the doors are open. There's no problem of safe rooms in Sderot.
Let me ask you another question, almost, like we say, for the same money that you are there. I did an extensive film, and it was about education and how in those places there was a tendency to define a lot of kids as they have to have like a special education in a way, because they're not as, and usually it was Mizrahi kids from
Sephardic,
sporadic, not even not low class. And Van Leer issued it, but never mind. One of the things that I noticed, and I don't know if, I think it's also in Sderot, how can you touch even eventually to amend their grievousness, like their resentment for how they were treated and how they still feel about discrimination, being sporadic and being pushed to a settlement like this, which is periphery, it's not in the center, etc., etc.
So Sderot of today, the 36,000 people that are there are not one piece. They're not all people that were there at the 50s and that they feel discriminated. They have a big proportion of people that came with the Russian Aliyah of about 20 years ago or 10 years ago. It's not that they're very privileged, but it's a different community. So the issue is to combine all the different communities into one resilient community. And the good thing about Sderot has a lot of challenges, but the good thing about the community is it's a quite resilient community. When I go there every week, I get energy because I'm surprised about how committed they are to Israel and to themselves, to getting up in the morning. And, they could have fallen into depression and say, oh, we're so poor, somebody needs to take care of us. No, they take care of themselves. They get up in the morning and they work with me until 11 at night at Zoom calls to prepare and to make strategic plans and da-da-da. In back of it, Tzipi, you're right. There's still some feelings of discrimination. You can feel it. It's in the talk. It's in the DNA, but not of all of them. And this is part of what I feel. I feel that my mission is to come back and to make, how would I say?
Amendment. Tikkun.
Sorry?
In Hebrew, is a tikkun.
A tikkun.
Yeah.
It's a tikkun because at the 50s, they were neglected and they were forgotten. And now when we have to go back and connect that tie from the 50s, and like myself as a Tel Avivian, I should come and build up the new Sderot of after October 7th. I chose them. This is what I tell them. I come and say, I chose you. I think you're the best. Just like I chose to work in Tel Aviv, I chose to work with Sderot.
This is the first time you go to a place and you embrace it and try to lift it up? It is the first.
In a voluntary way, yes. Right. I did it in Barcelona, in Christchurch, in George River Council when I was asked. I was paid for it. I was, I got some kind of
compensation.
Compensation, exactly. But over here, as I told you, I gave myself a tzav shmone. I thought I have no choice. I have to go and help somewhere. So I chose where am I going? And I went there because I felt that I want to help whoever helps himself or herself. And I felt that the Sderot people are people that are strong, are resilient, and want to help themselves. So if they want to help themselves, they deserve my support.
It's interesting. It takes me back to a few years ago in my center where we had
people has to know what your center.
The Charney Resolution Center. We used to do a peace simulation between Israeli kids, Palestinian kids, and international kids. And one of my wishes was basically to spread it into the school system in Israel, which was tricky because it's a right-wing government. Nobody wants that. And I felt that, you know, we were working with schools that were democratic schools or progressive schools, schools that they were talking about it, homes that they came from, that they were talking about it. But I wanted to get to what we call the second Israel, you know, like places of Sderot, Netivot, all these edges of Israel, which is hardcore. So what I did, I bypassed the system and I went to the Tel Aviv University together with the Gifted Kids programs. And I remember the first time the kids came with their parents. And just to explain everybody, when you go to the second Israeli, the leaders of the families are the kids because they are the many times the first generation for education, and the family listen to them. And I wanted very much to push the Israeli teenagers to become very meaningful part of the community, to understand the importance of elections, to vote for the right people, to become part of the whole thing, and maybe to lead. And they told me, the leaders of the program said, be gentle. They're not used to it, and you have to take care of the parents carefully, and you have to take care of the kids carefully. And I always felt that maybe we protect them a little bit too much, but it was so, because the way we see them, it's not the way they see themselves. And maybe we need to change the way we see them so they can work with us if they want to. And I still feel that I needed to go to bypass the system because the system is too complicated and they probably won't let me do that. But when you go to them and you go to these people and you give them the feel that everything is in their hands, and if they will take care of it, things will get better.
Yeah, but
you need to help them.
But what's important that you listen to them.
Right.
What you did, because I think that I thought to myself, did you encounter, that they kind of were suspicious to you? Because usually people don't listen to them.
They were. They were very suspicious.
Yeah, they're not
and
used to it. So it's
until
not
today,
just you
they're
have to.
suspicious. They were suspicious, and until today, they're
Yes, we didn't listen to them.
No, I'm talking about
Sderot,
I'm talking about what I
Malachi,
wanted.
there is other places, I don't want even to mention it, in Emek Ha'ela, that people felt that they are transparent. But you know what? Wait.
So
Lily and me are talking for a long time. The feeling that we have, that nobody cares about us. We don't think the government
I'm
cares about
talking now
us even
specifically
because
about.
We're talking
So
about.
I'm talking specifically about Sderot, about their mayor Alon David, which is a great young leader that is doing an excellent job there with the people. The people see him as their leader. And the municipality there is strong. I have to say, it's not as strong as Tel Aviv. They don't have the tools that we have here, okay? But they have their soul, they have their DNA, they have their desire to work and to make things better. And I think this is enough to make a progress. And with the help of people like me, or with the support of the government, they can jump this gap.
It's priceless. It's really priceless because it's not fair to make decisions based on, on nothing. And once you work with them and you help them, and it's not that you look down at them, and you're with them leveled, eye to eye, hand by hand. We're going to do this and we can do it. And there's no reason why not to thrive. So in that case, that's why I wanted you to come and tell us about it, because I think it's extremely important to really give, because October 7th was a huge crisis for the Israeli society. It's a disaster. And
it is, Tzili. It still is. What I'm trying to say
for
is
many years to come. For many years to come.
Exactly. But when we're trying now every day, we ask each other, how are you? How was yesterday? How was the weekend? The place where I heal myself is over there, because I feel that there's a hope if we can go hand in hand BBC, a right hand, most of them are right hand, most of them are religious. Myself, secular, left hand, so different but
Not
at the
left
same
hand.
time. So different, but at the same time can go hand in hand. And if you would have listened this morning, we had here a meeting on marketing. Michal and myself from the Tel Aviv Foundation, and three of them from Dorel and Atalia and Eric from the Sderot Foundation, and I brought them a consultant for marketing, and the talk there, sorry, for just an hour. In an hour, we had the same language, the same DNA, the same bottom line, the same vocabulary. So that means we can do things.
Right. But by the way, I don't know if it's, do you know how, and I'm sure that there are quite a few artists, academia, in any rank of life from Sderot who are now in Tel Aviv, very successful.
Yes,
if you have a list of them and they can join you.
No, I don't need, because there's so much already. The social החברה האזרחית,
the Israeli civilians.
the Israelis, what?
The Israeli civilians.
The Israeli civilians, I don't know how you say that term, is very strong and is doing an extraordinary work with artists, with culture. So this time, I don't think we need them in this specific mission.
No. I think about specifically kids who were born in Sderot.
Yes, but this project is a very specific project. It's helping the municipality of Sderot to stand up on their feet and do the big jump in a very short time. By the way, they would have done it also without me, but it would have taken them a very much longer time, and they would not have that excellent supporters, excellent consultants that we bring from Tel Aviv. You know what the mayor asked me? He said, please, Hila, help me in two things. One is make the merchak, make the distance between the gap between Sderot and Tel Aviv shorter, okay? And second is help us make the outlook of the city in the boutique way that Tel Aviv looks. So these two little requests are not easy. How do you close the gap? How do you close the distance between Tel Aviv and Sderot? And I think with professionals and with great tools, you can make it shorter. It's not that they won't get it by themselves, but we can make it shorter.
About everything, Hila, because the thing is, the point is not to do for others, it's to help them and give them tools and train them how to do for themselves. It's true about all of us, and it's true about the Palestinians and the Israelis, because there's this tendency to look down, let us come and help you. No, we'll do it. Give us the tool, the right tool, explain us, and we'll find a way and we'll do it, and we'll monitor or we'll help you. There's something about everybody has to find their own place, their own way, what's good for them, and do it in the best way. And no place should be like the other, but it should be special for those who live there. So it's very important for every society, for every community, for every individual, for everybody.
So, what I mean, what I really meant when I said to find people from Sderot, professionals, because I'm not sure if they have enough architects, or I don't know how to call it, what you do in terms of
urban planning,
environment designers, about, the parks and stuff, and to make it more beautiful and more boutique-y. And then, of course, let's say about emotional resilience. I don't know if Sderot has enough professionals to do it.
If not, we have you know how long it takes to go in a car from Azrieli,
from the center of Tel Aviv.
An hour and 20
center of Tel Aviv to Sderot?
An hour and 20 minutes?
55 minutes. No problem of bringing any professionals from anywhere to anywhere. It's okay. It's all of Israel is a small country. It's like London. It's 8 million people.
Israel is tiny, but the mental state is Tel Aviv is the center. Everybody wants, it's like New York. Everybody wants to come to Tel Aviv. Everybody wants to be in Tel Aviv. and all the rest is very far away. And people like to go far away to help or to do or
Right.
to raise projects.
Are you going
It's
to
meant-
train? Are you going to help training? Because I do, even if I'm a psychologist, all my life in Tel Aviv, and I know many of them, and I know many of them who even deal with post-trauma or stress, and they go from one hotel to another to try to help, It takes time to really understand the fabric of fear.
But also things it took place before, because I remember when Professor Hila Oren brought resilience to Sderot and the whole South, and then the government just took it apart, and there were so many activities and everybody were trying. And I remember meetings, and I remember how
Hila Oren is a psychiatrist who
is
really
a psychiatrist who started Chosen, the resilience, and he planted a lot of professional
Right.
help in these places. So for previously things were taken or were done for these areas, but politically somehow everything was always went back to zero.
Yeah, but
went
the
back to
fact that
zero.
she is not politically motivated.
But now
I'm not politically motivated at
You
all.
made
I was
a
just-
trade.
I
But
was
that's right.
motivated to give help, to reach out and help. Eventually, I myself, I got a support. Not only I gave help, but I also got help myself. And I see this whole mission just as a achrayut adadit, a mutual responsibility. Exactly. So I'm helping them, they're helping me. I think in 3 months from now, I will stop going because I don't think they will need me anymore. But we have our bottom lines that we decided what we're doing. We're having an event. We're doing this materials. We're doing a project where the police was, so it will be memorized. We're doing some little things that will take place.
The police station was destroyed. So
Exactly. But mostly we're helping each other together, hand in hand, and we're getting back on the horse so we can ride back. I think this is
how many of them still would like to see Bibi governing?
20-30%, not more. 70-80% don't want to see Bibi anymore. And to say that's a lot, because this was the city of Bibi.
It was 80% before.
Exactly. So now it's the opposite.
Right. Right.
And I think that's a lot.
Well,
And
I
I think
hate
this
to
is
say it,
also
but,
part of
this is a happy note.
I'm curious, since so many people from the South and from the North are not at home and relocated. In 2 weeks, we have the municipality elections in Israel. Where do they vote? Can they vote wherever they are, or
they're not voting? They're not voting. Sderot, Ofakim, all the cities that are under attack are not voting.
Wow.
But that is only 10% of the whole country. 90% is not there. So we are all in Tel Aviv, in Kfar Vitkin, where I am, we're all voting because we're okay. The 10% that are evacuated are not voting.
So the head of the city automatically continues?
Right.
Continues until probably in half a year or something. That will be a decision about that later. It's not even, it hasn't been decided yet.
Okay. Good.
Well,
Listen,
Hila, thank you.
You are doing something so important.
Keep doing, and for better days.
And we'll call you again when, they come back.
Thank you, Tzip.
For having me. It was nice to share.
It was
And
really
see you
wonderful.
next week. Bye.